Now I guess this one isn't really for anyone but me. It helps me to understand better, it helps me to see, to make a little sense of it all and gain some clarity. So it's time to listen to yourself for once, Andy. It's well overdue to give your mind a rest, give yourself a moment so that you can reassess. There's no point fighting against a no-win battle. The movement's not going over, it's already toppled. I just need to accept that this has already happened. The philosophy, even ethics, more or less abandoned, replaced with a trend, a diet, a fad, a new welfarist view, pushed by the...
It's a relatively young movement. It's about food.
Focusing on better treatment, but not the end of all use, allowing those who are pressed to make deals with our groups where only their careers and annual budgets see any gains, whilst the victims get more space, but their enslavement remains. Now please someone tell me, just why have we allowed this? Speciesism is the issue, and even that's been changed to kindness. The world's greatest social justice movement reduced to a diet. No wonder so many think that they can just drop it and try it. No wonder so many don't even know what we stand for, when those who are under the banner don't even inform. Instead they perpetuate the falsities to make it easier to digest, either ignoring or not realising as they encourage baby steps. Your journey begins once you've gone vegan, not before then. You either are or you're not going to further support their oppression. It's as simple as that if you're telling them the truth, but I bet it's your language that's making that harder for you. You tell them about cruelty, suffering and abuse, and their interpretations don't match yours for the words you choose. Conditioned for decades about these nouns and how to use. It's why we hear people still persist to that paradox humane, because of the consistency of those who are making the claim. See, it's much easier to fool than to convince those they've been fooled. That's why exploiters are defended and the opposition ridiculed. You can't reverse spells with the same magic that has cast them. You can't dismantle systems with the same process that protects them. And we won't change people's minds with the same words that have confused them. I'm not going to stop repeating this until somebody listens. It takes literally no extra time for us to consider what we say, so that we're again a liberation movement and not the new RSPCA. So where do we go from here then? What is our next move? Do we simply accept it and fall in line with apologist views? Do we sit back and let the reducitarian ideals lead the way? Or do we need reminding of what our founders had to say? The object of the Vegan Society is to oppose the exploitation of sentient life, written by Donald Watson in the Vegan News issue 4 back in 1945. So already we have a baseline, far stronger than the one now. So why have we watched silently as it's being watered down? It is not so much welfare that we seek as freedom, written by Leslie Cross in 51 in the new constitution. There's so much from Cross, in fact, I could cite him all night. Freedom to live our own lives in our own way according to our own inward light. This time from 54 and from the Surge of Freedom, which elaborates the size and scope of true veganism. This is a big idea, probably even too big for some, and maybe that's why we keep seeing these problems. Too sophisticated, too vast, maybe too much information, so they reduce it down without a thought for the implications. Anyway, enough digression, back to our history class. We can skip forward a decade and we're now with Eva Bat, a way of living which avoids exploitation, whether of humans, animals or the soil we rely on. This is from Why Veganism, from 1964. Move forward again until the time of Open Door, 1976 that takes us, and now Kathleen Janaway is the lead. Philosophy still intact, with more focus on soil and trees. This theme continues on until just before the 90s, when something seems to change within the society. The definition was amended to the one on display now, and in true comparison it seems to have left so much out. Maybe this was the first step towards our dilution, and if so, it's where we must look in order to find the solution. If the idea existed and was consistent for 40 odd years, without regression until just before the noughties appeared, then at the absolute least it shows the true strength of the core, and that it just needs unearthing again, just like once before. We can be the new pioneers declaring peace during war, and standing up to oppose injustice louder than ever before. With so much more knowledge, research and information, we can be the change that influences the next generation. We can be the movement again that we once used to be, where even our founders can be proud of our chapter in history.